few months ago, someone left a comment on one of my videos that simply said, "Rich people problems." At first, I laughed, but then it hit me. This represents what so many people outside of our world actually think. Which brings me to the thumbnail. Spoiler alert, that's not our car. But I used it because it's the ultimate picture of what people think is going on versus reality. If you're in dental school, medical school, or any season where you're taking a massive leap on student loans, you know this weird space. People see the path and assume you have present day generational wealth or a secret family safety net funding your life behind the scenes. So today we're pulling back the curtain and busting the 4 biggest myths about being a dental school family. Starting off strong with myth number 1, you must have family money backing you. I think people assume that living on loans with a family is only possible if you have family money that is quietly absorbing the hit. Our loan checks are calculated and fixed. There is no changing it. There's no getting more. Every dollar for groceries, activities, clothes, bills, whatever we need has to be carefully budgeted and managed. One of my first thoughts when I got that comment, "Rich people problems," was if he only knew. And that's the thing. I know that people don't know our story and our background and all of that stuff, but I wanted to take a second today to share that because I don't ever want somebody to come on my page and think that we are not living authentically to what I'm saying and sharing with everybody. We do not receive any help from anybody. It is all us. It is all on us in every single way. Not that our families don't help support us emotionally and they're there for us and, in that sort of way, letting us come and visit, but definitely not financially. My husband, his background looks a lot different from mine. He was born in Mexico. His family moved him here to the United States when he was 5 years old. So he grew up his whole life with the very stereotypical immigrant parents, people that came here wanting to provide a better life for their children, obviously hoping and praying that they would one day reach this level of success that my husband is striving for. And I think because of the way that he was brought up, he, from a very young age, wanted to be a doctor of some kind, wanted to very much be in the medical field. And he also saw his parents work so hard to make that dream a reality. We have talked so much about his dad always being gone and obviously coming here, having to learn a whole new way of life, a whole new language. It is oftentimes easier that they would work amongst other people that spoke the same language as them, and hence they get kind of like those stereotypical jobs. And his dad always worked in a restaurant and worked very hard, very long hours, weekends, all of those things. And they didn't grow up having a ton of money because of that. And so it was both this, I see my parents working so hard, wanting something so amazing for me, and I want to make them proud, but I also want to be able to spend more time with my kids and make more money and be able to afford a different way of life. That is his background. That is how he grew up and what is very much ingrained in him. I think more than anything, what they gave him was an incredible work ethic and desire to provide. Obviously, my background was very different from his. My parents divorced when I was around 8 years old, and I was raised by a single mother. My 3 sisters and I watched our mom work all of the time. She has done mostly hair, but I've also seen her attempt to go to school at different times in our life and did massage therapy for a while and just did different things over the years to suit what we needed, or maybe in an effort to kind of try other things. She always worked very hard, oftentimes without the child support that would have really benefited us and her and our living situation. So from her, I very much learned how to live frugally and learned how to stretch a dollar and work with what you had, but also how to be happy with it. And so I think really we both took the best parts of our parents and our upbringing and have been able to combine them to align our goals to what we want for our family and our life, because we didn't inherit generational wealth or a cushion to fall back on, but we did inherit grit and resourcefulness, and a willingness to sacrifice. Building from zero on student loans is not rich people problems. It's a calculated high sacrifice strategy for our family's future. Myth number 2, a high stress career path will strain your marriage. I definitely see how this one could hold some weight because it was something that I did kind of think about before he started school. Will the stress and the long hours and the exams tear us apart? Will it build resentment? Honestly, I think that it could if you treated it as like a his thing instead of a our thing. For us, I think coming from our humble backgrounds and also growing up together since we were married at 18, we share the exact same view for our future. And we were both very clear in the sacrifice that it would take to get there. Now, if you've seen some of my other videos, I think you might notice a lot of the time I say we instead of him. So I'll say things like, we are in dental school, or we are navigating this season, or as we do this, because while I'm not the one physically in class, I'm not the one taking the exams, I'm not the one studying, I'm not the one that gets the physical degree, this is very much a team endeavor. I'm the one managing the house and the budget and keeping everything running smoothly and the family happy, so that it is possible for him to get this degree. So for us, working towards this massive common goal is not in any way tearing us apart. It's actually the glue that makes our partnership so strong. I'm not sitting in the passenger seat waiting for his degree. I'm co-building our family's legacy. Myth number 3, your kids are missing out during these years. I feel like the universal parent guilt or the worry is that living on a tight budget or having a parent that's constantly gone studying or even working means they are getting the short end of the stick. I want to take a minute to debunk the idea that a good childhood requires zero stress and luxury vacations or trendy clothes and gadgets and gear, because it's simply not true. We really feel kids absorb so much from watching their parents hustle. And my husband and I, we know that firsthand. Living simply with 5 kids isn't a hardship. It's an opportunity to teach them resourcefulness, gratitude, and family teamwork. They're watching their dad work with discipline for a long-term goal while also watching their mom lead a home with structure and lots of love. So if you take anything away from this myth, I hope it's this. Children do not need luxury to thrive. They need stability, peace, and models of hard work. They are not missing out on life. They are getting a front row seat to what it looks like to build a dream from the ground up. Myth number 4, and this might be my favorite, the spouse has to put their life on hold or that you will always live in his shadow. This was something that I did think about quite a bit before he started, because I don't know how to say it any other way other than I was a lot different of a person before my husband started school. So my views on this have changed significantly. I never felt per se like I would live in his shadow, but I was nervous about how it might make me feel. So I think the worldview is very much for these 4 years as the spouse, I'm putting my life on hold, pausing my personal goals, identity, dreams, any pursuit of a career, etc. Very early on in posting on this channel, I did actually have someone comment and ask if I had any goals or things that I wanted to pursue once he was done with his. And I'm not saying that the person in the comments meant what I'm about to say in any way, shape, or form. I'm not saying that they meant anything by it at all. But I know that there is oftentimes this view of, okay, he's the doctor, but what are you? Because the title of doctor or dentist or lawyer or anything, those come with very high prestige. They are very respected, they are very upheld in the community, and oftentimes come with a different level or a higher level of respect because they hold those titles. And honestly, that's a concept that I just really don't buy into. I have done a lot of work on myself over the years, largely with the help of my husband, and definitely in this past year on my self-confidence, my value, and my self-worth. And I feel like now more than ever, I know my value and I know my worth. I will never shrink myself or feel less than because he's the doctor and I'm not. Obviously at my husband's school, but a lot of other schools as well, there's been an increase in female dentists that are going through. And I think that's wonderful. I look up to them, I admire them, I respect them, but I don't think that they're better than me because I chose a different path in life. And while I don't feel intimidated by them, I can look at them and respect the hustle and the sacrifice that they are making to do this career path. But we both have value. And while they are working so hard to do what they're doing, so am I. I run my home beautifully. I'm trying really hard to build something and make something of this channel to try and help other people. And every day I focus on my physical and mental health and well-being to be the best version of me for myself, for my children, for my husband. I want to speak directly to the woman watching this, the wife of the dental spouse. I want you to realize that your value is inherent right now. It is already there. You do not need a doctorate degree to command respect inside your home or out in the world. And to that comment, calling this rich people problems, we might not have a bank account full of family money, but we are rich in work ethic, rich in self-worth, and rich in the shared vision we're building together every day. If you're navigating grad school, med school, or dental school, or just grinding through a hard season with your family, what's the biggest assumption people have made about your life? Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.